Here we are then, back for some more Aston Martin Road to Glory. This is round 16, the final European round before we go to the final races and the final flyaways in the season. If you haven't seen the last one, guys, go check it out, link in the top right at Zandvoort. Take the warning in the top right as a bit of a hint as to what happened, but go check it out and see what happened regardless. But anyway, here we are for the new episode, and we've got a marketing department event, which is actually a continuation of something we've done a couple of episodes ago regarding, selling merchandise. And we've now got the results from that with a 50k cash boost, along with also a boost to our driver acclaim. Now, once again, we got no extra resource points from our engine failure last time. Now, that's now 2 in a row. But the big bombshell, Fernando Alonso is announcing his retirement at the end of the current season. So he will not be sticking around for another year. Going into this race weekend, I went ahead and also bought some more upgrades. This time we're going to focus on the chassis, as that is the weakest area of this car, as we're bottom of the charts on that front. So we went ahead and improved, weight and also tyre performance. Along with that, we had a crankshaft upgrade for this track. However, the rotors failed, which is for the ERS. So I went ahead and tried to repurchase, but I realised I didn't have enough points. I was actually 4 points short. So, bit of a shame. Anyway, after the last race, the failure was the turbocharger, and it's annoying how this trend keeps happening, where I can have a really good first part, of the season where I don't have any issues, and the moment I take a fresh component, it fouls straight away, as you can tell by 2, 3, and 4 being failures on the ICE, the MGUH, and the turbocharger. Regardless, we're going to move back to an older spec as we jump into the weekend's action, and we have more breaking news as a reg change is confirmed for Season 2. So there could be a bit of a shuffle up on the cards here with Alonso leaving and the cars changing next year. Also an opportunity to try and improve during the off-season. We've got a ton of rain for the race, so that should always be fun. And also, as for developments, we've got a few changes now taking place in the performance chart, because before it was pretty close and the kind of field spread was getting closer, but we've now got a pretty clear kind of split. You've got the top 4 teams and the bottom 5, with Alpine kind of floating in the middle. So definitely some kind of separation now starting to occur with the upgrades. We have, as you can see, 4 upgrades on the way. If they all arrive, they should help us out quite a bit in this very close battle with Haas, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri, also Alpine. And, things could always change, and also Williams. Either way, we're going to jump into practice, and as you can see, it's in the wet. And I'm doing it because it's going to give us some early data for the race, which could help us out. We smashed it out of the park. We had no issues in terms of, the session. We had a bit of underbody damage, but not a big deal. And we scored a big chunk of points, taking our total up to 1,800. As you can see, also a bunch of discounts going on to the chassis as well, which is really, really good. And yeah, that is exactly where we want those discounts to go. Rather than let them be wasted on durability, we want those discounts on actual parts that are going to, represent performance for us, which is the main thing. I'm also going to look at some durability upgrades because, of course, these failures are basically running us a bit short on components. Anyway, jumping into qualifying, dry conditions for this one, and this is actually my first bit of dry running as practice was mostly wet. So I'm kind of learning on the job here. The first chicane was horrific. Absolutely horrible, pretty much drifting my way through there to the point where I literally crossed the first sector split and then abandoned the lap. I then basically cooled the tyres off and went again for a second push as Russell bails into the pit lane, and we're going to now see what kind of pace we really have as we go for our first proper lap. So down to turn 1 then, spot the 100 meter board and brake down to 3rd gear. Try to not use too much inside curb on either of the 2 apexes because the curbs are pretty much undrivable. Trying to get the traction down out of turn 2, which wasn't too bad. We now go through turn 3, Curva Grande, making our way into the 4-5 chicane, braking again at the 100 down to 4th gear, and then you can take either a lot of curb or very little. It kind of depends on your setup and what car you're driving. I'm going for the safer option and using less curb. Now into Lesmo 1.
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Running it nice and fine there onto the white line. Lesmo 2 also looking pretty tidy, to be fair. It's been a pretty smooth lap so far. Making our way down the back straight and preparing the Ascari chicane. Again here, bring the car over to the right and spot the 100 down to 5th, possibly 6th, and then use all the curbs, especially for the first 2 apexes, to really make that kind of section as straight as possible. and now making their way into the Michele Alboreto, formerly known as Parabolica. Final corner, spot the 50-meter board, down to 5th gear, try to get a bit of a later apex and square off the corner a bit more to get a good exit and run it up to the line, and let's see what the banker's going to be. A 1 minute 20.4, and it's last place, and we're a whopping 9/10 off Zhou Guanyu, which sent alarm bells ringing in my head. I was like, oh boy, I'm a long way off the pace. And I went back to the pit lane,
30 seconds left in the session.
and even looking at the lap times, we are a long way away. We need to find at least a second to have any chance of being remotely competitive. So I couldn't believe it. I lowered my tyre pressures, which is going to go to more tyre wear, but we have to basically go all out and commit. So this time, we know where the limits are. First chicane, not too bad. We find near enough 2/10 through there, so an improved first sector. Let's have a look at the split compared to Bottas as we cross the intermediate, and we're up by 0.5 Now then, checker flag drops into the 4-5 chicane. Nicely done through there. Really good exit. You can see we find 3/10 compared to our previous lap, which I didn't feel like our previous one was that bad, but we're just finding time hand over fist everywhere right now, especially through the Lesmos as well. As you can see there, another chunk of time being found, and we're now 6.5 up as we end sector 2. Let's see what the split is compared to Ocon, and this will give us an idea. And we're currently just over 1/10 away, so this isn't too bad, to be fair. Now making our way through Ascari, giving it absolutely everything now, and we find even more time as we're 7.5 up, and we're now looking at Bottas as our reference as we make our way into the final corner. Break at the 50 again, little bit wide here, didn't really get the apex and we lose some time. I recover it back a little bit on the exit, but overall a bit of a time loss there. Across the line we go, and we're still last by an absolute country mile. Wow. That was not part of the plan. That's a bit of a shocker. I've never really had a pace issue with this track ever in my life, you know, compared to AI in both F1 22, 21, 20. This is a first for me. I've got no answer as to what the hell have just happened, or what the hell I've just seen more like, because we're 3/10 off the next car, 6/10 off our teammate. That's a shocker. And I'm running a dry setup, so usually our pace is even worse in the wet. So I'm now all of a sudden, I am crapping myself and I am dreading getting into the race, because this could be a long weekend for us if past experiences are to kind of prove me right. Oh boy. Anyway, we're going to jump into this race and we're going to see if we can somehow find some pace.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations, and it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With the rain coming down here at the 3.6-mile Monza circuit, the low drag setups preferred by most teams could cause them some problems in today's Grand Prix. So watch out for cars struggling for grip around the curve of Michele Alboreto. That is the Parabolica to you and I, and the last, most demanding of the track's 11 corners. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Sainz, George Russell and Hamilton, Norris, Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly, Tsunoda, Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Bottas, Guan Yu Zhou and Martinez, Stroll, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Joining me on this very wet day is a man who is no stranger to driving in these miserable conditions. Anthony Davidson, you've driven open cockpit, you've driven sports cars. How does the wet weather experience change between different disciplines?
Well, I wouldn't say there's much difference in all honesty. You know, besides the terrifying closing speeds you find in something like sports cars with different categories all sharing the same racetrack, driving in the rain is, well, driving in the rain. Of course, the biggest difference is the fact that Formula One is open cockpit. On one hand, they'll be cold and wet without a roof, but on the other, it's much simpler to pull a tear off away from the visor than it is to clear a dirty windscreen, so I don't think it's too bad.
Time for the race. P18, and it's absolutely chucking it down. We are on the full wet tyres, and I'm assuming everybody else is going to be in the same situation. The rain is a constant, essentially shades of 2008 pretty much, a fully wet race all the way through. Based off this tyre graph, it feels like I don't really have a chance of going for the no stop, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm still going to try it. We'll see how the car behaves and what the tyre is like. Fuel-wise, I'm going for 0.5 negative. I would go a lot lower, but I'm actually running a personalised strategy rather than a projected, so in theory, that should be more accurate, so I don't need to go so low on fuel. Either way, we're starting 18th. We've gained a couple of places due to penalties, but we've got work to do. The pace in the dry qualifying was a big shock. I could not believe how far behind we were, so I'm hoping that for once our wet pace is actually good. If not, this could be a very long and painful race. Right then, here we go. Let's get into it. Oh, what a start. Oh my goodness me, what a great start. Just finding the traction off the line. 3 wide right now. Gonna edge up debris on the track as we try to filter through turn 1. We get floor damage on the curb, but I'm gonna go around the outside.
I think the underbody's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful.
Right, let's take it easy. Hopefully it should be drivable if it's just regular floor damage, but that is P13. What an incredible start from P18. 5 places gained. Could be one more here up for grabs as we get around the outside of Gasly and force him onto the curb, make that P12. So up 6 places on the opening lap. That is incredible right there. What a start from us. Hopefully the engine holds up, because we now have a shot of points with Tsunoda and Albon ahead of us here. Well, let's see how the car feels. I've got pretty high pressures. I've got 3 and 5 clicks respectively. And we'll also see what the tyre is like long term. I mean, the no stop would be a huge advantage, but I don't think that'll be possible. Having a horrible Ascari there, struggling for grip. I think 0-0 wing could be a big disadvantage, but hopefully it'll help us out in the straights, because in a race with no DRS, 0-0 wing will just make us very, very fast and hard to pass on the straight. You can see ahead, the top 9 are kind of checking out as Albon pits from in the points with damage. Ocon looking for the pass here. We're going to use the battery to get back in front. Let's try and get Tsunoda and stick with him. I hope this full damage isn't too bad. Even if, you know, the pace isn't there, I can't really tell it's just because I'm slow in these conditions, or the floor damage is the reason why it's happening. Either way, I'll get my head down and push and try to focus here. Ocon closing. Defending the inside there slightly. And that has cost Ocon some valuable time, so pressure off for the time being. We're getting absolutely destroyed on traction though. So currently lap 3, the AI's pace should neutralise a little bit, as they usually just drain their batteries on the opening 2 laps. It does feel like I'm able to be competitive as we get a warning and stay with the pace a bit better on this lap. We're not losing as much time, so let's see. As long as there's a train ahead, there could be some battles, and you know, they'll keep on losing time checking up, especially into the first chicane, so there'll always be a chance for us to gain a bit of time. So just playing a long game now, and we've got a yellow. I think it's behind.
The track is clear, green flag.
Oh, it's Ocon. Ocon, is that a reliability issue? Nope. Just maybe a spin by the looks of it. He's got going, he's still behind me, but he's now 4 seconds adrift, so that's a welcome surprise. That will take the pressure off. Personal best. Pace isn't that great. Ocon's catching back up, and we're slowly leading out to Tsunoda, so yeah, we're in a bit of trouble here. I'm driving as fast as I can, just don't quite have enough, so we need a bit of luck to go our way if we want to try and progress any further. A bit like Zandvoort, you know, we were stuck in P11 that race. Same, you know, or similar scenario here today.
Yellow flag.
Oh, here we go, here's the luck. What is it? Yellow flag. Ricardo. Off track. Oh, Sonoda's off track.
Okay, clear.
Ricardo involved as he has lost a bit of time. So that moves us into the top 10. Let's see what happens to Ricardo here. Has he got damage or something? We're about to find out. Oh, I'm so slow through here. Oh, Ricardo stays out, so no damage. But we're in the points. So now we've got to try and keep Ocon behind. That has now become paramount. There we go. Nicely done. Ocon trying again. No slipstream this time, so I'm able to stay in front. Defending the inside. Just got to keep doing that. Ricardo's fine. No damage to what I can tell anyway. So we're just going to have to basically defend and make our car as wide as possible for the rest of the race if we want this single point. I'm not too bad. I just really struggle through here. Parabolica and the Ascari chicane. Ocon out of shape there, but that's going to take the pressure off, and Gasly's going to pass him.
I'm going to give you full wets in the next pit window, opening in 2 laps. Full wets in 2 laps time.
So they're both going to potentially battle and switch around us. We have a bit of a lock up into turn 1. Hopefully they just keep battling and losing time. Tyre icon has just appeared. 60% on the left rear. Tyre wear's pretty damn high.
Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap. Box this lap.
Fuel about to be on target, so fuel's not going to be an issue. But yeah, tyre wear is a bit of a problem. And I'm running, I think, 3 and 5, so it's pretty high pressures. We're going to stay out and do one more lap and make the next stint a bit easier for us to manage. Oh, Ocon out wide again. He doesn't pit, so we'll try and stretch this one more. Gasly does pit. We'll pit this lap now to try and take a lap less pain.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Oh, just about got to slow down. I was a bit worried that I wasn't going to make it. I don't think intermediates are an option. We're so slow through there. Ocon looking for the pass. We're going to force him to the outside. And we'll try and hold the line. And make sure we get to the pits before he does. Won't be easy, but there we go. Broke way too early there. That was a really precautious, or very cautious more like, pit entry. Anyway, onto another set of wet tyres. I was tempted to go for the Inter, I'm not going to lie. But I'm already in a points paying position. If I had to gamble, I would have probably gone for the Inter.
Lance is in for his stop.
Ocon got held, which is beautiful. We just need to be ahead of Gasly now, which is the key thing.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Ocon's going to be neck and neck with Gasly here. But yeah, if I wasn't in the points, I would have gone for the Inter because tyre temps are floating around 65 degrees, which is pretty high. It's on the verge on a wet tyre, so an Inter may have been possible, but we don't need to gamble. We're in the points, so we'll keep doing what we're doing. Oh dear. Here comes Ocon again. He's not messing around this time. He's putting the pressure on early. I need to try and find a way to force him into battling with Gasly, and ideally Gasly getting ahead because he's not as fast, so he can probably hold him up and they'll just keep battling for the rest of the race pretty much. Tried not to use my battery on the outlap, so we've got a bit of charge, so we're up to 70% now. But I'm also going to try and use it a bit less in brutal combat and basically just defend rather than use battery. And hopefully we can just at some point force Ocon into defending on Gasly and losing a bit of time. Personal best. Ocon back for more. Bring it on. Here we go. Now turn 1 yet again. Nice fresh grip on these tyres. Lots of rear traction, which is nice. So we're able to be competitive and also brake a bit later as well. The fronts are ripping up. Ocon trying again here. We're going to get across. Cover him off into Parabolica. Not over yet though, he's going to be back for more though, on the pit straight. He's got the exit and he's got the run, but he doesn't have the straight line speed. And we're just going to get back in front and do this all day. We need Pierre to get involved. Come on, Gasly, mate. I want to see a bit of magic from you, Pierre. Still nothing, man. Ocon trying again. I'm cutting across. Surely that's got to be an illegal overtake. But we're not letting Ocon rejoin, and here comes Pierre now. Trying to outbrake Ocon, which we managed to achieve. And is that going to put Pierre? No, it doesn't. He still can't get himself in the mix. Come on, Gasly, man, I need your help. But this is always going to happen. We need to somehow force Gasly to get involved. Give a knock on the squeeze there, and here comes Pierre Gasly now. Oh my god, he's actually got a lot of overspeed. We're going to have to cover him off.
Green flag.
And he's just broken down. That is unbelievable. Just when I had that wrapped up and I thought I was going to get the chance, he breaks down. Phenomenal. Safety car? Nope. Maybe Tsunoda can get the job done for us. Ocon back for more. I'm not even using battery this time. We'll just force him to the outside. There we go. We'll come back again though, probably. Tsunoda in the mix. We've got a yellow ahead. Norris has broken down. Okay.
Caution, caution.
This would really help, just take some pressure off and lock in the points. Yet another retirement for McLaren, this time Lando yet again. And that is now P9 for us. Ocon again going for the illegal overtake. Oh. Keep it, keep it, keep it. Slight bit of contact. I didn't mean to actually annoy Ocon that much there with the contact, but I was just trying to keep my car on the track. We'll let him go back through and basically resume the battle. Oh no. No. I've got no front end. Ocon literally parked his car there in front, and now Tsunoda goes through. Oh, that is so bad. That's going to side by side. Now Bottas and Schumacher involved. Come on. I don't want to lose the points now. Not that we're so close. Sorry, Yuki, mate. You're not going to side by side with me through that. Let's try and push. Now we've got some clean air. I know I'm faster than... well, not faster. I know I've got a better chance of being more competitive against Tsunoda. That Ocon pass though surely was illegal. Literally driving on the limit now, pushing like a madman. Trying to solidify this points finish. Personal best 29.2. Using a hell of a lot of battery. Also trying to see if I can get back to Ocon, but I don't think I can. He's a bit too fast. We're now draining all the batteries as we're getting towards the end of the race, and I want to try and get a point. Here we go then, last lap of the race, and after back-to-back DNFs, today we hold off a couple of AlphaTauris as we bring home a single point, which is gold dust to us, and that is fantastic. Get in.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Ferme then. What a fantastic race. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit, familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
So there we go, Monza in the books, and that concludes the European part of the calendar. Charles Leclerc with the victory here today ahead of Checo Perez and Max Verstappen. Russell Hamilton P4, P5 with Sainz closing out the top 6. Leclerc dominating his teammate here today. Alonso P7, best of the rest, and then Ricciardo in 8th. Ocon 9th, and we score a point in P10 from 18th on the grid. Great start, and we just held it there for the rest of the race. Tsunoda P11 ahead of Schumacher, Bottas, Stroll P14, Albon, Magnussen, Zhou, Latifi, and then Norris, Gasly out on the DNF. Standings still P11, but we get an extra point, and we're now 4 ahead of Magnussen. Verstappen is your new championship leader in the constructors, still 7th, but we increase the gap to Haas by a point, and we're just 5 behind AlphaTauri, so it's still all up for grabs, but we need one big result to really swing it in our favour, I think. Either way, guys, that is it for your race at Monza. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, it helps me out massively. As always, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel. Check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see all of you in the next one.